this program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed
that
to,
is
right?
Exactly what we're about. You have to remember that. Look, whether we get 1 million views or we get 1, it is still Be More. Believe me, for real. I refuse to have a generation behind me not doing better than me.
Right.
That doesn't make sense.
Right.
I can't sleep at night knowing the next generation is going to do worse than all. That doesn't make sense.
Be more for real.
DMV and Be More.
Put the number 4 up. Show them the number 4.
Here, it's like, okay, we separate, but when you move outside of Maryland, we all the same.
We all the same.
Canada
But you gotta play your role.
Canada is Be More for real. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all.
Welcome to BMore4Real podcast. Get ready for the realest conversations anywhere on the net.
Keep it locked with us.
Elvis.
Whoa. Be more for real in the building. Be more for real. Number 1 conversation on the net. Number 1 podcast in Baltimore. Brought to you by way of Real Explosions. Y'all know rated R for reality. Let's go ahead and clap it up, man. Be more for real in the building. We got some comments already. Send the icon. He said, hey, what's up, family? What's up? And send the icon. What's up, my man, brother Eric? You already know every week I'm drinking out the EBJR cup, man. Y'all go ahead and check my man Eric out Monday nights on the Sports Talk Show. Check out his gear too as well. Let me do this. I haven't done this in a while. Send the icon. In order to achieve what you want in life, you must elevate your thinking. You need to believe in yourself, even when others doubt you. There will be obstacles to overcome and stuff like that. But with this mindset, you will reach new heights and just rise, man. We appreciate you sending the icon. Y'all can go ahead and check them out on the Monday nights on the Be More Pod Network. What I'll do real quick is I'll go ahead and run that. Let's go ahead and run that sports show trailer.
I'm gonna kill these mofos for real. Give me a chance. It was more of a comment, right? They don't date because of passport.
But anyway, I gave y'all props. That's it. I'm done with y'all. That's it.
Oh, keep it coming. It's not the end. It's not the end. V's a legend. Like.
That's super.
So, I mean, sometimes stuff like that does cause a distraction. So, had him off his game. Like, he knew something was coming out. Like, pipeline, when he was kicking that ball, something else was going through his head. 16 therapists, accusations, from 2012 to 2016.
God.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because, like, the timing of it, but just for 16... What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, obviously,
I was like, who does that? Who does that?
So, right, like people think you just go in there and boom, one cut, and it takes time and effort. And,
absolutely. You got to really invest into it. And
right.
You got to really
Tune in to Be More Sports Talk Live every Monday at 7 p.m. exclusively on the Be More Pod Network.
I'm gonna kill these mofos for real. Give me a chance.
All right, man. Make sure y'all go ahead and tune in on Monday nights, man. They have dope guests and everything. This week they had just the main characters on the set, but nonetheless, it's a great sports show, taking over the sports show culture in the city of Baltimore. It's a pleasure working with those guys. Also, coming up this Tuesday, There is the Shameless podcast still on the BMore Pod Network. We want y'all to go ahead and check them out as well. I'm going to run that trailer.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Out there.
Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things.
Well, let's say names and get sued. Let's tell people names and get sued. Let's tell everybody. Let's just tell the whole damn truth. I'm saying to the sisters and the brothers, because we're not going to be biased, because the same way these men out here cheating, honey, these women out here praying. P-R-E-Y. Period. You're not going to argue with me about it. When they should be doing this praying. Right. He owed me his loyalty. That part.
Hi, I'm Sherelle, known as Mr. Blues.
Hi, I'm Glenise, known as Lady Angelic.
Hi, I'm Felicia, also known as the Visionary.
I'm Monica, known as Moni Love.
I'm Leah, better known as Songbird.
And we're Shameless Unplugged.
You know, Monica, to address what you said, what you did to get them, you have to do to keep them.
That's exactly right.
On both ends, though.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. That's why I was saying.
I know where you're going. I was about to say.
You know what? I love what Erica said up there. She said, tie him to the bedpost. My girl, that's my type of thinking.
We're going to start reading Erica stuff. We all know Erica.
And so, let the church say amen.
Amen. What's the highest praise? Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right.
Hallelujah.
I was.
Shameless Unplugged, another BMore Pod production, coming to you live every other Tuesday at 7 p.m. exclusively on the BMore Pod Network.
I don't know if they're ready for this one.
That's a heavy one.
All right, man. That's a dope show. Very deep. If y'all haven't seen their last show, go ahead and check it out, man. When I say it was a deep show, it really was deep and impactful. Shout out to Shameless Unplugged and the crew doing their thing. Another few announcements coming up. We have the YSLI Innovators. They have an event this weekend. If you have children ages 9 to 18, you guys see the address. You can holler at Mr. Brandon, Mr. Diggs. Man, they teach these children financial literacy. We already had them on the podcast. Y'all should go check out that episode as well. YSLI this Saturday. Make sure you bring your children out and they can learn about something really, really good. Now, on to the next one. We got just a few announcements. We got a couple announcements, not too much. BMore Pod in the building. He said, hello, fam. What's up, BMore Pod? We appreciate you. We're going to go ahead and clap that up. What's up, fam? How y'all feeling? What's up with you? Let's see. What other announcements we got? We have the Mother's Day comedy show featuring the legendary Mr. Howard G in the building. You guys can get your tickets. Showtime is at 8 p.m. Tickets $20 and $25 in advance, $30 at the door. And as well, on May the 4th, they have the Sanford and Son stage play coming right around the corner. A couple days from now, you got Mr. Shackelford, Mr. Ricky Shackelford, the Legends, and Howard G doing their thing, man. So we're gonna go ahead and clap it up for them as well. So BMore Pod, we appreciate you for being here, man. BMore Pod, they have another show on Thursday night. I showed you the Monday night, showed you the Tuesday night. Now let's get to the Thursday night clip. Let's just run that clip.
His studio etiquette is amazing. Like even at 5, he already knew. Like, yeah, I want this like that. Move that right there. That's a gift. That's a gift.
We got a video for Gwen Hilton. Y'all go ahead and run that video while I pop these bottles. Pop the bottle, baby.
But you get up on the table.
I want you to get up on that table. That's
and you stop.
First of all, it was the facial expressions I was making. I was looking at everybody else. Not too many people could sing like that.
And it's
Entertainment report.
Entertainment report.
They ready. They ready.
We do this so we can show other people's talent, and the talent that's inside of them is what they love is inside of you, man. They point out their passion, they love outside of themselves, man. And 9 times out of 10, if a person is going for trying to reach a goal, there's something inside of them. They got to have help.
That's my like. We here. We entertainment. Like we here. We at.
BMore Pod, your liveliest destination. Come and join Dennis, Lene, and Joey every Thursday at 7 p.m. Your talent will make room for you.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and clap that up. As y'all heard the doorbell, we have a special guest in the building. Special, lovely guest. I will let her introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ursula V. Battle, playwright Ursula V. Battle.
The playwright, award-winning Ursula V. Battle. We're gonna go ahead and clap that up. Such a pleasure to have you here today. Such a pleasure. So how you feeling today?
I feel good. I'm blessed.
How was your week?
It was wonderful.
That's awesome. So what type of things you done this week?
This week, went to church.
Okay.
I worked.
Okay.
Working on my new project.
Okay.
I prayed, tried to be a blessing to other people.
Yes, ma'am.
And I've been spreading the word about my upcoming production in August.
Okay. And we do have the flyers. We're going to share that. Let's go ahead and do that for a second. Let's see. We have a comment. Bobby B is here. Brother Bobby B in the building. We're going to go ahead and clap that up. Brother Bobby B is in the building. So we do have some flyers for you as well. Let's see what we got here. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go ahead and pull that up. You want to explain that?
So we have a brand new production that's going to be debuting in August. It is called Desperate Housewives of the Bible, the Old, the Bold, and the Beautiful. It's going to debut on August the 23rd and 24th at the Huber Community Life Center in Baltimore, Maryland. And this Saturday, May the 3rd, we will have auditions at Huber Community Life Center. We are looking for performers ages 8 to 80, singers, dancers, musicians, aspiring thespians. We're looking for people behind the stage. We're looking for people that want to be on stage. If you want to come out and be part of a phenomenal production, a life-changing production, we are encouraging you to come out and audition for Desperate Housewives of the Bible, the Old, the Bold, and the Beautiful.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and clap that up. We already got a comment. Brother Bobby B, he said, I want to act again. He want to act too. I want to act too. I definitely want to act too. I think I can act. I think I got a little skills. I don't know. I haven't tried yet, but I think I got a little skills. I think I got a little something.
Come on out.
We have Sabrina. She said, I will be there.
Come on out.
We appreciate you, Sabrina. We appreciate you, Sabrina. Which, by the way, we are almost at 600 subscribers. We on our road to 1,000. I think we about like 3 subscribers away from 600. If this is your first time viewing, please go ahead, hit that like button, and also hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be notified each and every single time that we go live. This is the realest conversation on the internet, #1 podcast in Baltimore. So back to you, Miss Ursula. You had an event also, another play. How was that play? Was it the resurrection or the funeral service for a man named Jesus?
Yeah, the homegoing service for a man named Jesus.
Sorry about that.
It was phenomenal. And I want to talk about that a little bit, but can I just add something about the auditions?
Sure.
Anyone who is interested in auditioning, call 410-440-9898 to schedule your audition for this Saturday, May 3rd at the Huber Community Life Center for Desperate Housewives of the Bible, the Old, the Bold, and the Beautiful. So we are just coming off another successful run of our production, the homegoing service for a man named Jesus, which was also at the Huber Community Life Center. This is our 3rd year doing that show, And as the title says, it's a homegoing service for a
man named Jesus.
of course. And every year we pack it out, and I wouldn't say it's in competition with Seven Last Words. It's actually another alternative to Seven Last Words. So a lot of people go to the Seven Last Words service, and then they come to see the show, and vice versa. And people love it. You're going to get the Seven Last Words. You're going to get some powerful singing. You're going to hear stories from the Bible about the miracles of Jesus. But most of all, you're going to be inspired and you're going to be uplifted.
Absolutely.
Which is what we do through our shows.
We're going to clap that up real quick. We're going to clap that up. We're going to clap that up. So let's get into the man named Jesus.
Okay.
What I saw you had a couple scenes. Like, how many scenes were there? Were you like basically doing the whole story from birth to death of Jesus, or just like pulling out the main parts of the story?
So it's certain stories that are from the New Testament of the Bible in which Jesus performed miracles.
Okay.
And so I basically picked certain stories from the Bible, such as the woman with the issue of blood, the woman at the well.
Okay.
And I pulled these different stories. And so during this play, these characters come up and they talk about the miracle that Jesus performed in their life. And then a lot of them, after they give their testimony, they sing. So it's a modern day depiction of several stories from the Old Testament in which Jesus performed miracles. So these people are coming up and giving their testimonies, just like a person would do at a funeral service. It's like reflections, except in the story, in the play, they're coming up and they're giving these reflections during the homegoing service for a man named Jesus.
Okay. So how long is the play?
It's about 2 hours and 15 minutes long.
2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yes.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. How much goes into creating a play like that?
Well, that's a great question. And I get asked that question a lot about our shows. So it first starts with an idea. So in this particular case, the director of the show, Dr. Gregory Branch, who I believe is the best theatrical director in the world, right here in Baltimore, he asked me to write a play that offered people the seven last words, but in a theatrical way. So it started out with him asking me to write the play, and then from there, it moved into actually sitting down and writing the show. So I think it took me maybe 6 months to a year to write that particular play.
Wow.
We went up with it the following year, and it's been on fire ever since.
Wow, that's awesome. So I know sometimes I write musical songs, and sometimes I get writer's block. Like, it might take me a week to write a song sometimes, and things like that. How long do it take you to write the play out? I know you said 6 months, but like, do you sit like an hour at a time, 2 hours at a time, or 5 minutes at a time?
It varies.
Okay.
So what I say is make the most out of whatever time you have to write. So for me, because I stay busy, I work full time, have a very busy schedule. So what I tend to do is get up early and write. And if I'm sitting someplace, let's just say if I'm at the MVA,
Right.
my companion is my iPad. I will pull out my iPad and I'll start typing.
Okay.
So I try to make the most out of whatever time I have. And in terms of writer's block, I don't. I'm just going to speak to that from a personal perspective. For me, writer's block isn't necessarily something that's sort of blocking you from concentrating when you're writing. To me, writer's block are those things that try to block you from writing what it is that God would have you to write. So if God gives you, or in my case, I'm going to talk about myself, a vision for something that he wants me to convey through a stage play, to me, writer's block is that impediment or obstacle that's coming up at that moment that's stopping me from writing or trying to block me from writing, that I have to overcome in order to finish writing whatever it is that the Lord would have me to write. That's writer's block for me.
Right. So it's more like a spiritual distraction.
It's a spiritual distraction.
Yeah, because the enemy, they come to kill, steal, destroy,
Right.
and they get in your way, when you have obstacles. But for you, it's overcoming that spiritual distraction, because the Most High gave you something to write.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep that in mind.
You guys got to be disciplined.
We have another comment from Lady Laura Baltimore. She says at Battle Stage Plays, Ursula is on live now. You know it, live in the building. Appreciate y'all comments, man. Appreciate y'all comments. Spam the comments, spam the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. We have the lovely Miss Ursula Battle on set, live and live in color. I actually had a pleasure too of meeting one of your colleagues, Dr. Tammy Rogers.
Yes.
I met Dr. Tammy Rogers, and she'll be on in a couple of weeks as well too. So it was a pleasure meeting you guys. I didn't know. So she does the directing for like movies and stuff like that. I don't know if she does plays. I'll find out.
She does.
Soon.
She's been in several of my plays.
Okay.
She's been in several of my plays, and she has been in my plays in various capacities, including actress, prop mistress, and she's even assisted with some directing. And she's a very good friend of mine.
Shout out Dr. Tammy Rogers. She'll be on soon. So I did see that Tammy acts in some of her films that she directs as well. Yeah. Do you also play a part in your plays as well?
I'm behind the scenes, so
you always behind the scenes.
I'm behind the scenes, so I do a lot of the. I do the right. It's original stage plays, so all the stuff that I write is original, and all the things I write are original. And then I stay in my lane. So my gift is, as far as I'm concerned, is that God has placed me in a production to write the production. Outside of that, you might see me promoting, which I'm doing at this particular time.
Right.
But for me, once I've written the piece, then I let the director and the performers do what it is that they do, and I step back.
Okay.
I might interject.
So you don't act at all?
I don't act at all.
Okay.
No.
That's interesting. That's interesting. We're going to go ahead and clap that up. Real quick. We have some more comments. Mrs. Sabrina, she says, what else can you tell us about the characters and your upcoming production? Great question.
Okay. So Desperate Housewives of the Bible.
Right.
Some of the characters that I have in Desperate Housewives of the Bible are Jezebel.
Okay.
Jacob, Rachel, and Leah. Abraham and Sarah. I also have Eve.
Please tell me you got Samson and Delilah.
Not yet.
Oh.
This is going to be part one.
Okay.
This is part one.
Okay. Oh, part one. So part two is coming too.
It's coming. Yes.
Okay.
And what's exciting to me about this is that this is a dynamic show. It's going to be groundbreaking in ways in which I don't think people have ever seen a stage play presented in the way that we're going to present it.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's teaching at the same time you're entertaining, but all of these stories are based on stories that are in the Bible, but I've taken those same stories and I modernized it. I have also added in, even though it's about Desperate Housewives of the Bible, it's also some of the males from those stories in the Bible that are in the piece too.
Correct.
So such as Jacob,
right?
Abraham. And again, all of these pieces are based around biblical stories. It's all in the Bible. There's nothing new under the sun.
Absolutely. We're going to go ahead and clap that up as well. We're going to go ahead and clap that up. It's a lot to learn from you, a lot to pick from you. But while you're here, could you explain a little bit of like where you come from and your background, your upbringing and stuff like that?
So I am a native of Baltimore. I grew up in the Forest Park area. Oldest of 7 children. My father, the late John Battle, a lot of people knew him. He had a barbershop not too far from here on North Mount Street, and was there for many years and cut generations of hair. My mother is a retired Baltimore City public school teacher. Wow. So I am the product of a barber, successful barber, and a successful school teacher. I went to Walbrook High School, Coppin State University.
Shout out Coppin.
University of Baltimore. I worked a number of years at the Baltimore Afro-American newspaper where I covered a number of different stories and beats, crime, human interest, sports, city hall, you name it. I was there covering it.
Wow.
So I do a lot of writing now for the Baltimore Times.
And you are a journalist as well.
And I'm a journalist as well. And very active in my church. I attend a small church called New Life Fellowship Worship Center in Baltimore, Maryland, where the pastor is Edward Ferguson, and my home church is the New Hope Baptist Church, not too far from here, Fremont Dolphin Streets, where my grandfather, Reverend Dr. William Nelson Stokes, founded that church back in the 1950s.
Wow. So you got a whole family full of pastors and clergy members.
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome. We're going to go ahead and clap
Ministry
that up
runs
as well.
deep in my family.
Go ahead and clap that up. So when did you get into stage writing and writing stage plays? How did that even come about for you?
So I love that question. I love when people ask that question. So for me, it started late. It started late for me. I had gone to see a play called Beauty Shop. Shelley Garrett's Beauty Shop was came out during the 1990s. It was touring all over the country. And my mother, who was teaching at the time, said, Ursula, you should write a play about teachers.
Was that here in Baltimore?
It was here in Baltimore.
I remember Beauty Shop. It was
Years
filmed
ago.
in Baltimore. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
It was like one of the first successful African-American touring shows.
Okay.
And so we went to see that show, and my mother said, you should write a play about teachers. So I didn't have any writing experience, but I sat down. It took me a long time to do it because I would just write on it here and there. And thus my first play, The Teacher's Lounge, was born. And from that very first play, and I had to find a director, which was Cheryl Pasteur, who was a legendary actress and director here in Baltimore. She directed it, and that show was a major success. But that was the play that taught me early on that I had the ability within myself, which I didn't know at the time, to actually naturally be able to just sit down and creatively write a play.
So you just saw Beauty Shop and you said, I'm gonna try to do this. I'm going to sit down and write a play and do it. And the first play that you said that you came up with was what was the name of it?
The Teacher's Lounge.
The Teacher's Lounge.
The Teacher's Lounge. Based around, well, a lot of stories came from my mother.
Was it filmed?
Yeah. It was a stage play. Well, yeah, we filmed it.
Okay.
It was very successful.
Are we able to access it today and rewatch it?
Well, it's still on DVD now, so I know I gotta get it out there on in another format now. But yes, it's still out there, and it's still a great show, and people still remember that show and ask me to bring it back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. And you were inspired by Beauty Shop, one of the big stage plays in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Probably one of the biggest. Probably started off with the Baltimore stage plays kind of scene there. And that's lovely.
It toured all over the country. Baltimore was one of the stops.
I heard you say your mom is your greatest inspiration though. Right. Well, some of the stories that you go through. But who would you say, besides the stage play, who would you say is your greatest influence behind playwright?
Let's see. So I know when I was a little girl and I was growing up, I used to do a lot of reading. I did a lot of reading, read a lot of books to the point where I was in the library every day reading. And so what I found through reading is that I could read and it just would take me to like these imaginary places that was in the book. So I think creatively for me, the spark was actually reading when I was a child. In terms of the stage play arena, I would say that certainly I've gotten a lot of inspiration from what Tyler Perry has been able to do.
Okay.
A lot of inspiration for what Shelley Garrett was able to do through Beauty Shop. Then you have other individuals out there like David Talbot,
okay,
who are doing very well. So I believe that they've laid the groundwork. I'm going to say this in a very humble way, that we have had some major success with our shows in Baltimore. Great director, great talent as far as the singers and the actresses. I believe that the ministry that God has placed in me through our plays, that he is taking me outside at his appointed time, outside of Baltimore, and that we're going to be doing this ministry, I believe, all over the country.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, you're in a position to, change people's hearts and change people's minds and facilitate their emotions and dictate certain thoughts based on your plays. So that's a powerful position to be in as well. More power to you. You got a positive mission, positive ministry, and you're spreading the word through ministry, music, and entertainment. It's such a pleasure to have you here and sit here before you. I just want you to know that.
Listen, I appreciate that. And I'm going to add this too. You asked me about
the greatest inspiration.
My greatest inspiration, I wouldn't necessarily say was my greatest inspiration, but certainly reading a lot of Richard Wright's books.
Okay.
When I was coming up, Native Son, and reading those types of things when I was coming up had a profound impact on me in terms of the power of writing. So for me, as a little girl reading those books, it sort of transcended into what I went on to do when I got older. So
Right.
as a journalist for the Afro, I learned that I could impact the way people think when I was writing stories about, say, for example, black on black crime. That when a person takes a person's life and I'm interviewing the family members, when I wrote my stories, I would write in a way where I wanted people to feel what that was like. I mean, it just wasn't just another statistic. This is a person that lost their life, that has a family that they left behind.
Right.
So my journalism was a little different.
Mm.
And it's the same thing with playwriting. It's not just a play. I want people to leave different than they were when they came in. For me, it's an experience.
Mm.
It's an experience. It's more than a play.
We're gonna go ahead and clap that up. We're gonna go ahead and clap that up. We got it in the building. Okay, we got a couple questions. Make sure y'all spam the comments. Let us know whatever you're thinking. She said, "What can you tell us about the Huber Memorial Community Center where auditions will be held?" And that's Sabrina. That's Miss Sabrina. We appreciate you. What can you
Okay.
tell us about the Huber?
So first of all, I'm gonna say this: the pastor's PM Smith, and they have allowed us to come in and present our stage plays to the community and beyond. It's a wonderful place to do a show. And as far as the auditions are concerned, again, 410-440-9898 to schedule an audition. You just set your time up, come over to Huber, 5700 Lock Raven Boulevard in Baltimore, Maryland, and we will see you when you come out to audition.
That's awesome.
Plenty of parking, free parking, as a matter of
We're
fact.
gonna clap that up as well. Free parking. We like free. We like free. The Raw and the Reckless Underground. They said, any television in your future?
I am getting ready to dip my feet in television.
Oh, wow.
So this will probably be the first place I'm going to announce this publicly. But when we do our Desperate Housewives of the Bible production, we are actually going to do that also as a YouTube series.
Oh, wow.
We're going to do it as a YouTube series so people can follow us as we are journeying along from audition to showtime. So many people say, Ursula, what does it take to mount a show? How do you find your performers? What does it take to direct? What do you all do behind the stage?
Right.
I believe that through this particular series, people will be able to follow us and follow along and be entertained in terms of things that happen as a part of the production, while also learning what it takes to actually put together a professional stage play production.
Absolutely. We're going to clap that up as well. Okay, so we got a couple more comments. Let's see. Lady Laura Baltimore, she said she also did My Big Fat Ghetto Fabulous Wedding and Serenity House, and they were very funny and heartwarming. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
So My Big Fat Ghetto Fabulous Wedding, which I hope to do again very soon.
Okay, that sounds funny.
It's
the
a
title
great
is funny
show.
itself. The title's hilarious.
It's a great show. And we did that show a couple years ago down at Turner Auditorium, which is another venue where we present our plays. And even though it's a comedy, it's also a piece in which I'm able to integrate real life family drama. So you get your drama, you get your comedy.
I think they call that a dramedy.
It is a dramedy, but you leave inspired, and you leave again. I feel better than you were when you first came in. And then another, I think, thread in my pieces is forgiveness, and what happens when you find it within yourself to forgive. That piece leading to Serenity House, which is a piece that deals with addiction.
Right.
And so in that particular piece, I was asked to write that show by Dr. Gregory Branch.
Okay.
Because of the number of people who were overdosing in Baltimore City and Baltimore County. And he wanted me to write a play that dealt with overcoming addiction. Not because he had been in addiction or I had been in addiction, but because so many people were dying in addiction.
From addiction, right.
And so from that, I decided to write a piece based on him asking me to write it. So even though it's a very serious subject matter, it's also funny.
Right.
And I was actually able to draw on my experiences as a journalist, having interviewed many people in addiction, having interviewed several different places that help people in addiction, and people that did not relapse. Time and time again, when I interviewed them, they always said the reason why they did not relapse was because of their faith in God. It was God that helped them to not go back. So in that piece, certainly ministry and faith play a huge role in terms of the storyline and how the folks in that piece overcome.
Right, and that's awesome. So in a lot of ways, your plays and stage presence is more like counseling as well. And I see why you say the way people come in, you don't want them to leave out that same way. You want them to be renewed.
Yeah.
Their mind and their spirit to be renewed.
It's-
So yeah,
it's-
that's deep and that's
definitely.
dope.
It's woven in such a way where people don't feel as though they're being counseled. They're being entertained, but at the same time, they are also being counseled and they're being helped. So I know from the personal testimonies I've gotten after the shows, the tears, the laughter, just it's amazing when I sit in the audience and watch, and when people come up to me after the show that come see the shows, and it's also helpful to people who are in the productions that you don't know who are going through something, and they'll say, well, this play came along at just the right time because I was really going through a very difficult time in my life.
Right. So I have a question too. Hold on. Before I ask my question, let's go to brother Bobby B. He said, "What do I bring to the audition?"
Yourself.
Bring yourself.
Positive attitude, and just a little insight. You'll probably have to read something from the script. If you sing, just be prepared to sing a little something. If you sing gospel or R&B or whatever it is that you sing, just be prepared to sing if that's what you do. And if you do poetry, be prepared to do a little piece of poetry, and just come ready to just do an awesome job.
Come ready to work.
Come ready to work.
Absolutely.
Put your best foot forward.
We're going to go ahead and clap that up. We're going to go ahead and clap it up. We got a lot of clapping to do. You deserve a standing ovation, trust me. For real. If we had 10 hands, we'd clap whatever, all of them.
Thank you.
But it's Be More For Real. So let's get into some Be More For Real things. What are some challenges and struggles you face? I know, for instance, like you said, Dr. P.M. Smith at the Huber Center,
yes.
he opened up his doors for you. What does it take to land those type of deals? What does it take to work with everybody? What are the obstacles, just in case somebody want to play right like you?
Okay.
Can you explain some of that?
That's a great question. So for me, I think that and that's why I think it's important for me to do what I mentioned earlier in terms of the series, so that people would follow along. Because I stepped out and did my first play, I didn't know anything about how to mount a production.
Okay.
I didn't know about how to go about finding a director, how to rent a venue, how to go out and get performers. So for me, it was learning as I went along. But at the same time, because of my and I'm always going to be grateful to the Afro-American newspaper. The Afro-American newspaper put me in a position where I knew the Bobby Blounts of the world. And I was always in front of people, interviewing people about different things. And so it was a great opportunity to just expand my network. So when I wrote the first play, I was already around and exposed to people who could make recommendations to assist me. First of all, I was already working at Coppin State University.
Right.
So when I did my first play, naturally, it's about teachers. Coppin State University is a teacher college. So I said, well, it makes sense for me to rent the auditorium here at Coppin State University. By me working at Coppin State, I knew the people in the drama department, so I tapped into them. So I guess, long story short, it's the connections that you have, and it also is a deep willingness to be able to listen to other people and to be able to accept criticism and learn as you go along.
Okay.
So yeah,
let's talk about some of that, because I want to get into detail just in case somebody want to know. And if you can't say anything, just say you can't say it. But you said like renting out the auditorium or the stage.
Yep.
What does that encompass? Like, how hard is that? Like, what kind of struggles should people expect to face when it comes to renting out a venue?
First of all, you have to look into more than one venue. Make sure you can afford it. And when I say make sure that you can afford it, meaning that, I mean, for me, initially, I had lofty dreams. Like my first play at the time,
right,
when I was doing Teachers Lounge, I'm going down the Lyric. And I'm going to do my first
Ooh,
play
the
down
Opera
the Lyric.
House.
I'm
Wow.
going down the Lyric. I'm going big time. But
Wow,
when I
that is
got
big
down
time.
there and found out how much it was going to cost, I So okay, I'm doing this at Coppin State. Okay? I'm
Change your mind real fast, huh?
Right. So budget. Don't overextend yourself in terms of budget.
So you came out of your own pockets to facilitate this.
Yes.
So based on that information, would you say that the startup cost for such a field is pretty steep?
I wouldn't say it's steep, but you definitely got to have some funds, and you got to have supporters who believe in what you're doing. So for me, I was at the Afro, and again, I got to just give a shout out to the Afro American newspaper because they sponsored me,
Okay,
and gave me some funds to help put the show up. Then I had my supporters like my family and my friends and people, the network of people who were putting out information about the play, who were helping to push the tickets. Then I tapped into my media connections because I knew people I worked in journalism, had a marketing background, so I knew how to write press releases. I knew how to line up interviews and things like that. So all of those things played a part in being able to successfully have my first show, even though I didn't have the experience. It was the connections that I had in terms of the network, and my willingness to step out on faith.
Absolutely. We're gonna go ahead and clap that up. Appreciate the information. We're gonna clap that up. We have another comment by Sabrina. She said, "Are the grants available for new concepts and projects?" Great question.
That is a great question. So one of the things I would probably do at some point is start a 501c3. So everything that I've done since I've done my first show, and I've done shows over the years, many shows, it's been out of pocket for the most part, unless I've gotten some sponsorships. But I think that a 501c3 would open up the opportunity to be able to go after grants.
Right.
So right now, I'm not necessarily going after grants because
can you do that with an LLC or a corporation? Or
I'm
no?
sure you can.
Okay.
I'm sure you can. But I guess for me, for so long, I've been doing it this way.
Right.
But I believe that there are grant opportunities out there for people to just, and I'm probably one of them that should be investigating grants. I've just never gone after them, but there are many opportunities out there for grants.
Absolutely. And also, just by the way, anything that you need from us that we could do, the promotions, put your flyers up, videos up, let us know. We'd be more than willing to accommodate you with those.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Seriously. We want to be involved in the community. We are about the change as well. And the change starts with us. We got to be the change that we want to see. So we want to start just by extending a hand out and just saying that if you need anything that we can help with, that's anything that's in our power, we'd be more than willing to help you with that.
And you know what? That's a blessing because it's that type of support, the word of mouth, because we sell out shows, and we're selling out shows because it's people come and they come back and they're sharing those flyers, they're calling folks up.
Right.
It's that grassroots word of mouth that has really really catapulted us out there in Baltimore, where people like for the show that we have coming out in August, say, when can we get tickets? It's just amazing. I owe a great deal of debt to the supporters out there who push the information out there about our shows, such as yourself.
Yeah, well, we're more than happy to do it, and we appreciate you. And we need more shows such as the shows that you have. It's like entertainment and information.
Affordable entertainment.
Which we like to call infotainment.
Affordable, yes.
And I have another question. Like you were saying, it's a 501c3. So let's say these people paying for the shows and all that stuff, and there's an excess of money. Are you allowed to put that money in your pocket, or does that have to go to another use?
I use it to fund my next show, and I give.
Okay.
I donate.
But I really want to know the legal aspect of it. Like, would it be legally possible or within legal bounds for you to say, okay, it's a little bit of extra money going from the show, I'm gonna take it in my pocket and
I'm sure that would be legal. But
you say you would, it would or wouldn't?
No, I use it to fund my next project.
Okay.
And I give to also support other endeavors, such as one of the entities that I support is Huber Community Life Center's Hope Academy.
Okay.
Which is a school. It's a private school, a private Christian school. So I support Hope Academy.
That's awesome.
And other churches as well.
Do you train other people that's coming up into the industry world with being a playwright, journalism, or any of the other fields that you go in? Are you a mentor, sponsor to anybody else?
People tell me I am. I don't have anybody that's necessarily like shadowing me per
Mhm.
se, but when people call me and they want advice, I'm always willing to talk to people to give them advice. But the biggest piece I say to people, if they really want to learn about what we're doing, is to come and be a part of one of our productions.
Okay, and that makes sense.
Hands-on training.
That makes sense. Yep, that's the best way to learn. 90% of learning is actually visual, and 90% of communication is nonverbal.
Yeah.
So we always stress that here on this show. Also, the importance, like you said, of networking and getting the people together. Because we have another show coming up too, where we are reaching out to the community because we have someone in our community that needs help. They're actually fighting a state for custody of a child, and you will learn more about that. She was supposed to come on and what was it, the 14th of May, but she probably won't be here until June. She wants to get all our stories right, the documents, but these are the kinds of things that we want to get involved with in the community.
Yeah.
Just making this world a better place, and I believe that's your mission as well. That's the mission. That is the mission.
Yeah.
Is to make the world a better place.
Make the world a better place through our shows.
Mm-hmm.
Again, encourage, spread the gospel. And the other thing I'll point out too is that our shows provide a platform. Baltimore, as I'm sure you know, is home to some very talented individuals.
It is.
Singing, dancing,
athletics,
everything. So for me, it's a platform for people to be able to display their talents on stage. And that is very fulfilling for me because it allows people to see what they have to offer through song, through ministry. Like in Homegrown Service, a man named Jesus, we had like a short eulogy. We had a gentleman by the name of Pastor Stone who preached a eulogy for Jesus.
Shout out
Pastor Stone. And so
shout out Pastor Stone.
Yeah, he did an awesome job. So it allowed him to be able to share his ministry with another group of people through a stage play.
Absolutely. We have another comment. Or did we already answer this one? Did we? Are there any grants available for new concepts and projects?
So again, with the grant arena, I'm not too familiar with that because I don't get any grants currently. But I do know that a quick search in Google, all kinds of grants will come up.
Okay.
And there are a lot of grants. I have a good friend who's always sending me information about grants that are out there for female entrepreneurs, African American entrepreneurs. So there definitely are grant opportunities out there. We just have to do our part to actively go after them and apply for them.
Absolutely. And what kind of I guess advice would you give to other playwriters and actors of a sort? What kind of information would you give them? Advice.
So one piece I would say is if you have a vision as to a play that you want to write or a book, which I've written a book also called Serenity House from Addiction to Deliverance, which is actually based on the stage play.
And where can we get that book?
It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon.
And I usually sell it at my shows.
Okay.
I've had a lot of success with the book. And I'm in probably my third reprint of the book since it came out. But I say that to say that it starts with an idea, but put it on paper and start writing it, because I have a lot of people say, well, I want to write a book, want to write a play, and I want to write it, but I just can't seem to find the time, or I can't get past the first page. Well, if you don't start on it and see it through, it's going to remain in your mind, or it's going to stay on page one.
Right.
So my advice is, if you have that dream to write a play or to write a book, first of all, do it. And then to me, you have to figure out where do you fit in. For me, I write plays. Some people may think that I can write the play, I can be in the play, I can promote the play, I can direct the play. Well, you doing all those things, you're doing 10 things, right?
Right.
Something's going to go undone, or something's not going to be right.
Right.
So for me, I believe it's about me staying in my lane, doing what I do best, which is writing and marketing, and then allowing those people who have the expertise in those specific areas to do what they do. So you have to trust people in their talent areas and let them run with that talent.
Absolutely. And we all have our pet peeves and stuff like that. Is there anything that you find kind of like frustrating when dealing with other directors and actors?
For me, was probably the most frustrating me is your word is your word. So if you come out, you audition, you do a fabulous, fantastic job auditioning, and you say, well, listen, I can do this. I'll be there. I'll be at the rehearsals. I can do the part. And you cast and you don't show up or you're not dependable. Like, I know things come up, but that's probably like the biggest challenge. And I think for me, I'm very serious about, even though I write comedy, I'm very serious about what people come through the doors to see a show. I want them to see the best.
Right.
So if I give my best, the director give their best, the folks who are part of the production got to give their best. So some people say I'm a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
I am when it comes to the shows.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah.
My cousin used to say this, and my older cousin, and I say this to my sons all the time. No matter what the job, big or small, do it great or not at all.
Yeah.
So you don't halfway do anything. You understand? If you're going to do it, it doesn't matter if you're sweeping the floor or if you running a whole organization. You do it to the best of your ability, and that would be one of those things.
Yeah.
Would you say that's kind of like
do,
that?
do your best.
Yep.
Do your best. Do your whatever it is. I have a person in the show. His name is Brian Stevenson, and I'm making this point, people, because sometimes it's not about how many lines you have. You can have one line. It's what you do with the one line. And Brian Stevenson plays the Digging Mumbles in our play, and in the play we just did, he does. It's a character in there who does fake sign language.
Okay.
So Brian doesn't have a lot to say, but what he does have, he does so much with it that people love him. So I just want to give this bit of advice for any aspiring performers out there. Don't get wrapped up into how many lines you have. Do a marvelous job with the one line that you have. Do your best with that one line.
We're gonna clap that up.
Yeah.
We're gonna clap that up. That's BMore4Real. I would agree with you as well. I would definitely agree with you. How did they used to put it back in the day? It's not the hand that you dealt, but how you playing the cards.
Right.
I'm a big person into putting things into perspective, putting things into reality. You know, we hear a lot of these cliche quotes, but we aren't able to apply them. See, we have the knowledge. Knowledge is knowing the way, but wisdom is the application of knowledge. I think that's why the old folks used to say, you know, knowing is half the battle.
Right.
So I now start to grasp these things slowly but surely, but it's coming into maturity, and I got a full sense of it now. But consistency is also key.
Yeah.
So how important is it in your field, especially you're author, a journalist, playwright? How important is it to be consistent with your work?
I think it's very important because to me, there is a standard that is a part of our plays now. And I think that standard is excellence. That if you come and see a Dr. Branch, Ursula V. Battle show, there's a standard of excellence, I believe, that people have when they come and see one of our shows.
Right.
So consistency is maintaining that level of excellence. Consistency is coming up with fresh material. Consistency is continuing to develop characters that resonate with people. Consistency is, as I see it, continuing to make sure that I follow what I believe the Lord has ordained me to do through my plays, which is to minister through my productions.
Right.
And if I fall off that consistency, people that come see our shows are going to say, what's going on? Because for the past, I've been doing shows now for probably 25 years.
Wow.
And dating back to Teachers Lounge.
In the 90s, right?
In the 90s. Discord in the Choir, Pitch Please. That's one of our big shows.
Discord and acquire Pitch Please.
Pitch Please.
Wow.
Pitch Please.
That is so funny.
That's a great show.
I hear the dramedy
Yes,
through the
oh my
title.
gosh,
Like
yeah.
the dramedy speaks out through the title.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That in such a few short words you could bring that out.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So you come up with the titles yourself too?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Okay.
I have some very creative people that help me create these titles. And so sometimes, and to me, that's why I believe that God has blessed me with so many creative people, because if I'm stuck on, I know the title's not quite, because you know when you got the right title.
Right.
And then someone would say, you know what? I say, well, Discord in the Choir. And then Dr. Branch may say something like, Pitch Please.
Ooh.
You know, it's just, I said, you know what that sounds like, right?
Yeah, we know. We know.
They said, you know what that sounds like? But
the spin on it is so lovely. It's classy as I don't know what.
Yeah.
It's classy as all outdoors.
Yeah.
I really like that. I really like that. So who would you say is some of your favorite people to work with? I know everybody you work with are good people to work with. Everybody is good people to work with. But who are some of your favorite people to work with?
Cast members,
directors.
Oh, okay.
Other playwrights, authors.
All of my cast members. I mean, one of our cast members, Tanya Brown Ayesi. So she played Usher Martha in our last show, The Homegoing Service for a Man Named Jesus. And she is someone that just brings a lot of talent. Oh, everybody's talented. She's one of our leading actresses.
Okay.
And we've been working together for a number of years.
She sing too?
She doesn't. She can sing. She can actually sing a little bit.
Okay.
But I think she's her claim to fame in our shows is her comedy.
Okay.
She played Evelyn Champagne Jackson in
Ooh.
My Big Fat Ghetto Fabulous Wedding.
Okay.
And so she played in Serenity House, Sharon Brown. And the reason why I'm talking about Tanya is because of her versatility. So she can play fun. She plays a lot of funny characters, but she can also be serious. She can sing a little bit if she has to. She's consistently dependable. So she says she's in a show.
She's in there.
She's in it.
Shout out Tanya.
Tanya.
If Ursula endorsing you, we are shouting you out. Shout out Tanya. You the business. You one of them greats.
Yes.
You heard me. You are one of them
Yes.
greats. We appreciate that, man, so much. Is there anything else you want to share with the people? Because I know I probably, the conversation, the comments, we probably drift you off from a little bit. But is there anything that you wanted to really talk and say to the people?
I'm just gonna take a little bit further what you just asked me. Working with Dr. Gregory Branch.
Shout out Dr. Gregory.
Yes, it has been a blessing. And I, of course, have to give kudos to the first director that ever worked with me, which is Cheryl Pasteur.
Shout out Cheryl.
Cheryl Pasteur, who's in the political arena now. But she was the first director who directed my show. So she saw, I'm always grateful to Cheryl, because she saw something in me that made her, she was well-known director in the Baltimore circles and beyond. But it was something that she saw in a young Ursula Battle that made her say, I'd like to work with her. But it was something that she saw in the script.
Right.
So Cheryl Pasteur, Dr. Gregory Branch, Tanya Brown, Sharice Caldwell Bowen, Randy Roberts. Shout
out Sharice, shout out Randy,
Williams,
shout out Carl.
Carl Williams behind the scenes, Tracy Stevenson, who's
shout
also
out Tracy.
directed, Dr. Tammy Rogers, who was
shout
a
out
big
Dr.
supporter.
Tammy, who will be here in a few short weeks.
Yeah, so it's just so many people. My mother, my family, my mother Vashti Battle Brown, my brothers and sisters, my children. Everybody. They were supporting.
I actually
my
need Tammy
shows.
Rogers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I need
Yeah.
Tammy to send me that. She had a link for I guess a movie she's about to premiere. I asked her could we show it, but she didn't give me permission, so I didn't play it.
Okay.
I played a couple other clips. So, Miss Tammy, if you want us to do that, if you can get back with us as soon as possible, we appreciate that. If you have any clips, we would love to play some.
I got a whole lot of clips.
To play some clips and
Yeah.
stuff like that of your plays. Because I know I believe the last 3 years your plays have been sold out.
Yeah, we've been rolling, and I'm gonna say this too. My family. So before there was a cast, before there were the big auditions,
right?
The people that used to get in there and play those roles were my children.
Wow.
My brothers and sisters, and my church members.
Shout out family.
Yes.
Shout out family.
Yes.
That is awesome. We're gonna go ahead and clap that up because ain't nothing like family. Man, we're gonna go ahead and clap that up. I think that's one of the biggest stories of the Bible that people tend to downplay. When we look at the story of Christ, when he first came, and there was a reason why, he was born under the law to redeem them that was under the law, so they might receive redemption and adoption of the sons. Galatians 4:4. But when he came for the house of Israel first, for his own family, because he's like, look, if my own house is not taken care of, how can I take care of the world? I think that's one of the most underrated messages of the Bible.
Yeah.
Can you think of another underrated message of the Bible similar to that?
Another underrated message in the Bible, let's see. It's probably a lot of them. I've written quite a few stories about different things in the Bible. So I would.
What's your favorite?
I think. Well, I wrote a piece one time about the Book of Esther.
Oh wow!
I did a modern depiction of Esther, which I've actually since rewritten. That I hope to put out within the next year or two. But I think one of the amazing stories about Esther was her ascension to the throne, how she was able to do it.
Right.
And so a lot of times I think, that may be a little underrated. People know the story of Esther, but they don't know what it took for her to get to the throne.
Right.
They don't know the series of events that led to her getting to the throne. But for those who understand the story, it had to be God that got her to the throne. And so I would say probably in many stories in the Bible, when we hear the story of David and Goliath, or we hear the story of Joseph, the common thread is that it had to be God that allowed those things to happen in order for them to do what they did. And people need to keep that in mind, because a lot of times we as humans may say, well, I did this and I did that, and I achieved this and I achieved that. But in reality, we can't achieve nothing without God.
Greater is he that is within me than he that is within the world. We're going to clap that up. Such a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
It's a lot we could talk about. Any shout outs you want to give to the people, to the your family and all that? I know you shouted them out, but this your time.
Okay.
Tell people where to follow you and everything.
All right. So I'm a shout out to Dina Wan, Baltimore Times newspaper group. That Baltimore Times is a big supporter of my work as well. Certainly my family, my mother Vashti Battle Brown, my brothers and sisters, there's 7 of us, so I won't shout all of them. My children, Devin, Vashti, and Asia, my church, New Hope, my home church, New Hope Baptist Church, my current church, New Life Fellowship Worship Center, all of my wonderful cast members, Dr. Gregory Branch, Huber Community Life Center. I mean, the supporters are endless. Again, I got to talk about the Baltimore Afro-American newspaper, their support of me, which kind of, again, opened a lot of doors for me as well. And most of all, my Lord and Savior Jesus
All praises
Christ.
to the Most High.
Yes.
We're going to clap that up.
Oh, and Miss Curl Williams.
Miss Curl Williams. Shout out Miss Curl Williams.
Curl Williams.
Shout out
And
Miss
Tracy
Curl Williams.
Stevenson.
And I want to give you your flowers while you can smell them as
Thank
well,
you.
too. It's such a pleasure to know someone that's in the community, in and around our community, that's building plays, not just for our entertainment, but to counsel us, to make us the best version of ourselves. And, the channel our inner beings, and to also make sure that we believe and have faith in the power of Christ. Like, that's fantastic. That's awesome. That, like, it brings me much joy and comfort knowing that it is people like you that go above and beyond for the people and have the people's best interests at heart. Maybe you should run for mayor of Baltimore City or something. I mean, like, come on now. Maybe you should. But seriously, though, it is such a pleasure. It's wonderful to sit before you in your presence, and I'm glad to say that I've known you and we had you on the podcast.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. It's certainly been a lot of fun. It's just like it's just sitting with a great looking young man and just shooting the breeze.
She said great looking. I appreciate that. That. But BMore4Real, man. Rated R for reality. Realest conversation on the internet. Brought to you by way of Real Explosions. Y'all can catch us each and every single Wednesday. Like I said, we was only a couple of subscribers away from 600. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. And we're going to catch you guys next week on BMore4Real. Till next week, we got y'all.